Hey guys, Neil here, and welcome to my next video, but a bit of a somber one actually after the weekend that's just passed. So it was one of those races that everybody in motorsport looks forward to, and it's the Belgium Grand Prix, and that's Spa-Francorchamps, which is an incredible circuit, steeped in history, a challenging circuit for the drivers, a beautiful circuit for everybody, to be perfectly honest, for the people that go to watch the Grand Prix, the people who work at the Grand Prix, the team. Spa-Francorchamps is an incredible place, nice place to go out afterwards. So Spa-Francorchamps is something that everybody looks at, is a race that everybody looks forward to. But sadly, this weekend was tragic. An extremely talented young driver called Antoine Hubert was unfortunately killed during the Formula 2 race there. I was lost for words. Unfortunately, I was watching it at the time, and you just kind of know when you see a crash of that magnitude. I've seen lots of crashes, either being there in person, had my own race cars crash, and also watching them from a spectator's point of view, whether it be TV or you see a lot of crashes. But this particular crash was at Eau Rouge, which was, a very fast corner, and it's just one of those crashes that 3 cars were involved in, that you instantly go from, oh my god, and I was on the phone to my wife at the time whilst watching it, and that was exactly my reaction. Now, like I said, I've been through and seen an awful lot in motorsport throughout the years that I spent in motorsport, and you're like, oh, cool, that was a tough one, or that was a bad crash, but this one was the reaction, and I remember it was just, oh my god, and I went silent. And even the commentators were, oh, someone's gone off, and they went virtually silent. It's just an unfortunate, it's an awful circumstance that you immediately know, if you're involved in the sport, and probably even if you're not, wow. And unfortunately that was the case. It's taken me 3 days to record this. It hit me hard. It hit me extremely hard. It was just awful, it really did hit me hard. But I didn't know the guy. I've been out of the sport for 10 years, and when you're in the sport, you get to know a lot of the drivers. When you're in Formula 2, a bit of background is Formula 2 is my equivalent when I was racing was Formula 3000, is the feeder series to Formula 1. Loosely termed, you've got Formula 3, Formula 2, Formula 1, but there's lots of other championships in the maelstrom as well to get to Formula 1. So, but it's a career progression path, and the Formula 2 are a support race for the Formula 1. So they go to a lot of the Formula 1 tracks. And back in my day, when it was F3000, Formula 3000, you are the support feeder, and we had a lot of drivers that I got to know that then became Formula 1 racers, or sports car racers, or Le Mans car racers, American IndyCar, you name it. They passed through our teams because it was their career progression as well as my career progression from a mechanic's or an engineer's point of view. But I didn't know the guy, and why it hit me so hard kind of shocked me, really, in a way. And there's been tragedies in the past. Billy Munger, unfortunately, where he lost his both legs at a horrendous crash at Donington, which I was watching at the time as well. And it's just, again, it's one of those things that you see, and they don't replay it because of the magnitude of the accident, and you immediately, your thoughts are with everybody, as the driver, the guys that were involved elsewhere in the crash, the stewards, the teams. Now, this is where I think this is why it hit me so hard, is because Antoine Hubert's team were Arden, and they were in Formula 3000 when I was in it, and they're actually owned by, I believe they're still owned by Christian Horner, who was somebody who was my boss at Red Bull, the top man at Red Bull, and still owns Arden, I believe. And I know a lot of the guys that came from Arden and that worked at Arden. I know the guys some of the guys still there, some of the guys are at Red Bull now, and so you know everybody knows everybody in motorsport. And I think what hit me so hard is because I can feel what the teams felt. I mean, I never, thankfully, lost a driver. We had some big crashes. I can't even begin to imagine what it feels like to lose your driver. These are guys, especially in the feeder championships, where you're living and breathing with these guys. In Formula One, you're still living with them, so to speak, but at the end of the day, they go off to their hotels and you go off to yours, and you see them less and less, although you do get to know them and you do interact with the drivers. You know, I've met and got to know an awful lot of drivers: David Coulthard, Michael Schumacher, Mark Webber. Huge amount of drivers that have gone into other things, especially in the junior championships. You're travelling with them, you're hoteling with them, sometimes you're room sharing with them. It cut deep, and even 10 years on, I'm still an enormous fan and still know everybody in the business. I tried to talk about, I don't think my wife could quite understand, because I've been out of the sport for so long, of why it really why it cut so deeply. And I think it is the relationship with the fact that I know some of the guys at that team. I know a lot of the guys that worked that team are now in Formula One or different, so how they would be feeling, because in fact I know an awful lot of the guys in F1 that were there at the track at the time. And unfortunately there's another driver that's still that I believe has life-changing injuries. So I'm Neil. On that somber note, thanks for watching.